Mom, daughter smiles and dances. This is what Nicola and 3-year-old Kaylee Jayde Priest were showcasing to the world on TikTok, a seemingly happy and loving mother-daughter duo, enjoying their time together during the lockdown. However, behind the scenes, a heartbreaking and devastating reality was unfolding. Sadly, this joyful moment at the park would mark Kaylee Jayde's last outing before her life was tragically cut short in her own home, at the hands of her own mother, her mother's boyfriend, or possibly both of them. For months leading up to this fateful day, Kaylee Jayde had endured unspeakable suffering and abuse. Even in the TikTok clip that captured their seemingly cheerful dance, the police noticed visible bruising and untreated bone fractures, serving as haunting evidence of the torment she had endured. Now let's delve into the details of this case and explore what exactly transpired on that summer evening in the Kinghurst area of Birmingham. On the morning of August 9th, 2020, emergency services received a distress call from Kinghurst House in Stonebridge Crescent. Paramedics and police arrived at the scene to find Kaylee motionless in her room. Tragically, she was pronounced dead at approximately 11:25 a.m. However, first responders couldn't ignore the unsettling nature of the situation. A 3-year-old girl with no known health problems had been discovered lifeless with visible bruising. Sensing something amiss, they called in detectives to thoroughly investigate. Nicola, the mother, was arrested to get her account of what happened to Kaylee, since she couldn't explain the circumstances. Following their initial inquiries, the police eventually released Nicola, likely on bail, but the investigation continued. TikTok videos emerged as tributes to Kaylee, showing Nicola in tears, lip-syncing to emotional songs. However, shortly thereafter, Nicola posted a dance challenge video with a seemingly carefree caption, seemingly unaffected by the tragedy that had occurred. As the investigation progressed, the police concluded their findings and charged both Nicola and her boyfriend at the time, Callum Redfern, with Kaylee's murder. The forensic post-mortem examination uncovered disturbing details about Kaylee's injuries. She had sustained severe trauma to her chest and abdomen, including significant internal damage, small brain tears, and a punctured lung. These injuries indicated heavy blows, possibly from kicks or stomps, as well as a punch or an intense slap to the head. Additionally, some of her injuries showed signs of healing, implying that she had been a victim of prior physical abuse preceding the fatal injuries. The nature of her injuries was comparable to those seen in serious car accidents, painting a harrowing picture of the abuse Kaylee had suffered. CCTV footage confirmed that both Nicola and Callum were present at the flat on the day of the assault, and it was during Callum's presence that the fatal assault took place. The two individuals were subsequently charged and brought to trial. During the trial, Nicola and Callum denied the murder charge, but they still faced charges of manslaughter, allowing the death of a child, and child cruelty. The trial was held at Birmingham Crown Court in June of 2021, where it was heard that Kaylee had been subjected to a brutal assault on August 8, 2020, but didn't die immediately. There were suggestions that if she had been taken to the hospital for treatment, she might have survived. However, she tragically lost her life due to the injuries sustained during the assault. According to the prosecution's statement, there was a significant chance that Kaylee could have survived if emergency services had been called promptly. However, by the time Nicola made the call, it was already too late, and Kaylee had tragically passed away. The catalyst that led to Kaylee's death seemed to be her interruption of Nicola and Callum, who were noted to be spending time alone together in the bedroom. During the trial, both Nicola and Callum were accused of Kaylee's murder, and they each attempted to shift the blame onto the other. They brought up a history of abuse, with Nicola claiming that she had heard Callum punch Kaylee on a previous occasion. On the day in question, Nicola stated that she went for a cigarette while Callum put Kaylee to bed. Within the time that she said she was gone to smoke this cigarette, she alleged that Callum had smacked Kaylee for biting him while he was helping her put on her pajamas, even though no visible bite marks were found on his hand. During police interviews, Callum also attempted to put the blame on Nicola, but he ultimately chose not to give evidence in court. Witness statements would give an insight into how Nicola behaved around her daughter. For instance, her ex-boyfriend's mother, with whom Nicola had lived in 2018, testified about the disturbing treatment Kaylee received. At first, Nicola referred to Kaylee using derogatory terms like rat and a censored word. As time passed, the mother revealed that Nicola started resorting to the odd smack, using an open hand, targeting the child's arms and legs. Another witness, a 17-year-old who occasionally helped Nicola with babysitting, testified that just a month prior to Kaylee's tragic death, Nicola had slapped the young girl around the head twice in a fit of anger. The first instance was triggered when Kaylee asked for food, and the second occurred when she placed a blanket over her baby brother's face. During the court proceedings, Callum's friend, who had arrived with Callum at the flat on the day of the assault, testified that he did not witness any violence taking place at that time. He mentioned that everything appeared to be following a normal routine. However, he did note that he had been wanting to leave the property for some time, but Callum was initially reluctant to do so. Surprisingly, without any warning, Callum suddenly expressed a desire to leave, prompting them to depart hurriedly. The court was told of how Kaylee's room wasn't the best living conditions for a small child. The room lacked carpeting, and the mattress was found to be dirty. Furthermore, paramedics were unable to illuminate the room during their assessment because there was no light bulb. Despite the difficulties in pinpointing the exact culprit behind Kaylee's death, the court heard that both Nicola and Callum were equally responsible, as evidenced by incriminating messages exchanged between them. In the text message exchange between Nicola and Callum on July 24, 2020, which was shortly before Kaylee's tragic death, Nicola made a chilling statement. "I'm going to kill her because she keeps leaving the living room or going into the kitchen, so I've hit her and smacked her for shing in her nappy." Shockingly, Callum responded with, "Good, give her one from me," to which Nicola replied, "I will, babe." Just 3 days later, Callum messaged Nicola, expressing his frustration. "I'm going to keep that little brat away from me, sick of your spunking daughter." However, despite the damning text messages, both Nicola and Callum were eventually cleared of murder in the trial at Birmingham Crown Court. Instead, they were found guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. Nicola also faced a separate conviction for child neglect related to Kaylee's previous injuries. As a result, Nicola was sentenced to 15 years in prison, while Callum received a 14-year prison sentence. Once again, this serves as a tragic example of a parent taking the life of their own child. In Kaylee's case, the very person she depended on for protection became the person she needed protection from. It is worth noting that even Nicola's own mother had reached out to social services to report the abuse, but it remains unclear if any action was taken. In a poignant twist, Nicola's own mother testified in court against her daughter, seeking justice for Kaylee. "I'm unsure why a mother would go on to abuse and kill her own child, though someone she'd carried for 9 months, just to ultimately put them through months of abuse which resulted in lots of injuries, including 19 fractures to the ribs. I just don't understand how you could do that to anyone, let alone a child, and that child being your own child. Instead of going out of your way to put your daughter first, it seems like you just wanted to abuse her and put a man first, instead of buying Kaylee what she needed: a decent room, a decent mattress, and food." Surprisingly, Nicola managed to save £900 from her universal credit. For people who don't live in the UK or aren't aware of what universal credit is, it's basically welfare money from the government. She used this money to purchase a car for Kaylee. However, the shocking part is that Callum showed no care or consideration for Nicola. In addition to his disrespectful comments about using Nicola for sexual purposes, he took £300 out of the £900, as the car only cost £600. If you enjoyed this true crime content, please give the video a like and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. This has been True Crime US, and I'll catch you in the next one.